Okay, we're going to graph and then label the foci. So to graph this, what you do is you have to make a little box. The y value is going to be the square root of 9. So your a value is going to be the positive negative square root of 9, which is positive negative 3. And again, it's under the y, so what that means is we're going to go up 3 and down 3. And that will be our vertex. And then this one, 16, your b value is going to be plus or minus the square root of 16, which is positive negative 4, which means it's going to go right 4 and left 4. And then what we do that? Well, we're creating a box here. This box will create our asymptotes, which then help us graph. So what we do, we go like this, boom, 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 boom. And we're creating our asymptotes. And then this one goes like that. So we create our little box, create our asymptotes, and then why is that useful? Well, watch what happens. Since the y is first, it tells us where we're opening. So y is first, so that means we're going to open it, so the hyperbolas are going to be up here. So what's going to happen is the hyperbola goes along this asymptote, comes down, hits that vertex, turns around and goes along the asymptote. Again, an asymptote is a boundary. It gets closer and closer to but never touches. So the other one goes around, hits, and then comes back around, gets closer and closer to the asymptote, but never touches. So what's nice about the asymptote, they give you boundaries. The blue lines are actually, this is the vertices, are the hyperbolas, but the asymptotes help us find it and graph it very quick and easy. Alright, the last question is find the foci. So to find the foci are the c value. So c is going to be a squared plus b squared. So c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So that looks like it's 25. So it looks like c squared equals 25. Now, how do you calculate c? Well, hopefully you can see that you square root both sides. So c is going to be plus or minus 5. What that means is you're going to go 5 from the center here. You're going to go 5, it's always inside, so you're going to go 5 down for foci and 5 up, because plus or minus. And that tells you where your foci are. So those are your foci. And if I want to write those as coordinates, your foci are 0, negative 5, and 0, positive 5. Those are my foci. Just label them right there. Okay, let's do this again. But all we're going to do is graph. Now, this one's not in the proper form. You always have to have a minus equal 1. So to make it equal 1, you're going to divide everything by 9, because you need this to be 1. So 9 over 9, that leaves us just, looks like y squared. And put it over 1, just so I have something, because 9 divided by 9 is 1. And this is going to be y squared over 9, and 9 divided by 9 is 1. From there, well, what's my a value going to be? My a value is always the first one, so it's always going to be plus or minus the square root of 1, which is plus or minus 1. And the b value is going to be plus or minus the square root of 9, which is positive or negative 3. So it looks like we're going to go your a value came from your x, so you're going to go left and right 1. See, positive, negative 1, and your a value came from the x, so you go left to right 1. And then the y value, the b is 3, so you're going to go up 3 and down 3. And then we're going to have this really small box here. And then there's a center right here. And then you create your asymptotes from there. And then you got your asymptotes. Okay. And then we got to decide which direction this bad boy is going. So hopefully you notice the x is your first variable. So what that means is it's going to go along the x-axis. So your hyperbola is going to go along the asymptote, come and hit the vertex, and then go back along the asymptote. It's going to go along the asymptote, hit the vertex, and then go back along the asymptote. And those would be our hyperbolas. Your foci would be inside of there, but we're not asking for it here. Your foci would be inside, just like that was. Again, the first variable tells us which direction it goes. See, y goes up and down, x goes left and right. The a value is always the first piece, b value is the second piece. Alright, the last one, we want the vertices and the asymptotes. So the vertices and asymptotes, that's all we need. So the first thing I need to do is divide everything by 225. When I do that, it looks like 9 goes into 225, 25 times. It looks like we have y squared over 25 minus, this looks like it's going to be, that goes to 25, to 9 times into that. It's over 9, and that's 1. Now, looking at this, we can kind of get an idea. Just make a quick sketch. Since y is first, looks like the first one, we know this is going to be going up and down. Again, because y is first, we know it's going to go up and down. So we know the vertices are going to be right there, and your foci are going to be right there. Something like that. Okay, to find our vertices, it's a. So a squared equals 25. So to find a, we're going to square root. So we got a equals plus or minus 5. And since you notice the vertices are right here, that means they're up and down. We know those vertices are going to be in the y values. Again, they're going up and down. So up 5, down 5. So our vertices are like that. Your a value gives you your vertices. And your asymptotes, well, if you think of your asymptotes, you have this little box here, and you created these asymptote thingies. So to find those asymptotes, I need to get a slope of that line. So we first need to find b, so b squared equals 9, and if I square root that on both sides, you got b equals plus or minus 3. And then if you think about this little box here again, you're going to have a graph where you go up. You have two graphs, by the way, one going down, one going up, and you have an x value. To find the slope, well, we either went up 3 or up 5. Now if you think of the graph, which one did we go up? Did we go up 3 over 5 or go up 5 over 3? Well, what's the y value? The y value is the 5. Isn't it rise over run? Slope is rise over run, which is your y values over your x values. So you want your y, which is the 5, over your run, which is the 3. That would be your asymptote. A lot of people flip it over. And the reason plus or minus is you have a negative slope and a positive slope. You have two of them. So your vertices and your asymptotes.